Hi, Lizzie. I'm so happy to be here today discussing one of my favorite topics with you, sustainability measurement and GHG inventory accounting. One of the things I wanted to talk about is the change in the market that we're seeing. We've really, over the past 20 years, started with disclosure, the simple targets that sounded good from a marketing perspective, 15% by 2015, 20 by 20, that kind of thing. And we've really moved into science-based target setting, seeing increased scrutiny around the accounting of GHG inventories. And it's not just what's your target, it's do you have a credible plan to achieve that target?
The conversation that we're having with clients at Sweep has really changed fundamentally. It used to be, we need our footprint results for reporting, but now it's more, we need to be able to defend actually what's behind those numbers and also how do we act on them. Another thing that comes to mind is evolving reporting requirements. Scope 3, we're seeing it move from more of a voluntary practice to really having requirements, maybe as part of contractual data clauses. And so the pressure to have defendable inventory results that you can act on is really accelerating.
Yeah, that's a great point. All of this is becoming more important as we want to start using this data to not just report on, but to influence procurement decisions. You know, can you buy a better material to put in your product that has a lower impact on the environment?
And what we see with clients coming to Sweep is that their previous inventories were built and working for reporting, but maybe not necessarily for decision making. The data may exist, but it's spread across spreadsheets, different business units, and disconnected systems. What Sweep provides is that single source of truth, pulling those disconnected systems into one structured view.
The ultimate goal is action, right? And in order to take action, our clients, what we're seeing and what they're facing is more granular data, more and more and more, bigger and bigger and bigger. Our spreadsheets are getting longer and longer, and it's harder to manage that way. But with more tools and systems to start getting more primary data, say from suppliers, I think we can start to solve that pain point with real data so that we can demonstrate true reductions in emissions.
So we've spoken a little bit about the context of inventories and the external pressures, but let's talk why inventory management matters.
Greenhouse gas inventory shouldn't just support reporting, but it should support decision making and environmental impact in a positive direction. What do you think?
When I think about a strong inventory and what that actually means, of course, you want your inventory to tell you your emissions hotspots and where your emissions are concentrated. But I think another even more important thing is what changed in your emissions and why year over year or month over month. And that will help you understand which interventions that you can take matter most to manage those emissions and reduce that impact. And thinking about Sweep customers, one that comes to mind is a global manufacturer that we work with, and they're a huge company. They work across many different markets. They have thousands of sites, and they really wanted to move from annual reporting to monthly tracking, not for every area of their inventory, but for scope 1 and 2, some of the areas that really mattered most. And so the way they did that was a lot of automation set up, so connecting over 50 different IT systems. And really what they saw is they were able to get a lot more actionable insights from having that monthly data flowing in.
That reminds me of a client I worked with several years ago now. I would say this is ahead of their time, but they were talking about in their manufacturing floors, they have a screen that talks about, you know, how many days since an incident, right? So health and safety kind of has always had that sort of real time focus every day or hour you're talking about it because it's real consequences, but also putting up how many kilowatts are we drawing right now? Do we leave a machine on? That kind of thing is where we ultimately want to get to, really to embed these sustainability emissions related decisions into everything the company does.
That's where the Sweep and Arcadis partnership comes in. So what Sweep provides is the data architecture. We provide the structured, traceable, auditable foundation across all of your scopes for your greenhouse gas emissions inventory.
Arcadis comes in after Sweep and helps connect the inventory insight to an operational reality, whether that's assets, procurement, supply chain, infrastructure, or decarbonization planning.
The companies that succeed will be the ones that, as we've said, truly understand where their emissions sit, who have built the infrastructure to be able to act on that knowledge continuously and to make that process as efficient as possible.